and a very warm welcome to all of you. My name is Nora Gerby. I'm the founder of Who Cares Chronicles, and as a founding partner of the Change Now Summit, I am honored to welcome you here all at the Renault Group at Change Now this year. We are live in Paris at the feet of the Eiffel Tower, and you can follow us live from the Renault Group and Change Now digital platforms. Please note that this presentation is available in 4 languages, channel 1 for French, 2 for Spanish, 3 for German, and 4 for Italian. The last in-person Change Now Summit took place in January 2020, so it is with much excitement that I welcome you all today. I must underline how unique it is for us at Change Now Summit to welcome a car manufacturing reveal of this scale. In fact, it is the first time in the summit's history, 5 years. Change Now is an event that is fundamentally rooted in action. So I'm truly honored to see and share how Renault is taking part in this rooted action momentum as it sets to explore and reveal not just a vehicle, but a new era, truly a new era for the automotive industry. Change Now and Renault are also rooted in big picture thinking about transforming systems and shifting deep-seated paradigms in leadership. And it is with this forward-thinking leadership that I'm honored and pleased to welcome on stage the CEO of Renault, Luca. Welcome, Luca. Welcome, Luca.
Good morning, Nora. Good morning, everybody.
I know that you have been traveling quite a bit for the past 2 weeks, and as a matter of fact, you just came back from Asia last night. So you had a lot of espressos this morning?
Yeah, I had a few espresso, yeah. But we are used to it, so it's no problem. It's part of the job.
Well, thank you again for being here with us today. It's for our audience near and far.
Yeah.
Stage is yours.
Thank you very much. So, I'm very happy to be here this morning. You know, the automotive industry has always had a big role, maybe not recognized, in pushing progress. It is one of the industries that is key for innovation in our society. Sometimes innovation comes in other sectors, but the role of automotive industry in technological progress and societal project is twofold, in my opinion. One is, normally, we are the ones that are able to democratize technology because our production system is so huge, there's so much investment, so much efficiency that goes in that we are able to reduce the cost. This is one effect. The other thing that normally happens with the automotive industry getting into some kind of technological field is that we normally make that innovation solid and reliable. Because once in a car, obviously, technology can cost life. So it simply cannot fail. You can't reboot a car. I think that it is very urgent that car makers put this kind of typical role we had in the decades or in the centuries at the service of sustainable innovation. That's why we're here today. Renault, as some of you that follow our gestures, you know, in the last years know that we have started to reinvent our model, okay, even our business model. There are a lot of examples of that. We invited a few journalists for a tour in the company, I think yesterday, Christian. And they've probably seen one thing that is very unique, like what we call the refactory, managed by Jean-Philippe. It's a site close to Paris, an ancient, one of the most traditional historical plants of Renault that we transformed in the biggest circular economy industrial, let's say, organization in Europe. It's also a symbol of ourselves challenging through such kind of initiative our business model that was based on pushing volumes, building cars, you know, and growth. Some consider we put our business at risk, but I strongly believe that we are building the future kind of reconciling sustainability and profitability. So we want also to demonstrate, and God knows if I am motivating every day Jean-Philippe, that we want to demonstrate that that place can also make money, okay? Because we are business people, so that's what we have to do. So committing for sustainability, our, let's say, idea and objective is that we will be neutral in Europe by 2040, we already said that, and worldwide in 2050. So it's pretty much in line with all the, let's say, targets that all political institutions have. But to do that, and that's kind of a bit different, okay, at Renault, at least in our industry, is that we want to go beyond regulation. We do more than curbing usage emission. What we're trying to do is to decarbonize the entire life cycle of our cars, from raw material sourcing to, the full recycling of the car. And besides that, we want to operate this huge transformation, I would say, in a very inclusive way. So one of the big initiatives that we have is to actually reskill our people to the new jobs. So there is a project that has been announced and will probably be more detailed in the next weeks that we call Renault University. That is meant to transform the competence of 12,000 people in the company from now to 2025. And this platform will be open to all the suppliers and all other companies that want to get a little bit more, they want to transform the competence of their people. So all our corporate commitments, I think, are not enough if we are not taking them all, let's say, the way down to our vehicle. So that's why 1 year ago, as soon as I presented the kind of a new ESG strategy of Renault, I say to the teams, look, our ESG strategy is based on 3 elements: environment, inclusiveness, and safety for our people and for our customer. I want you guys to translate those 3 concepts into a car, because we are hardware people, okay? We are industrial people. So until the people don't touch something in our company, they think it's philosophy and metaphysics, okay? So we are here today to present you the result of a year of work on a concept that Gilles Vidal, our chief designer, will introduce. So, as I said, environment first. This car will contribute to our carbon neutrality objectives. Just to give you a few elements, it will be powered by a mid-range electric and hydrogen powertrain, which will allow us to reduce the size of the battery. And we know that if we get it into a kind of a cradle-to-grave approach, which is the one that we suggest, a car like this will have 75% less impact than a classical battery electric vehicle. The car is built, and you will be able to touch it and to see it, 70% with the recycled materials, and will be 95% recyclable. This is actually the double than current production cars. So for us, it's a kind of an experiment on how we can push the envelope. This car also illustrates our commitment to safety. So all the technology we put in the product, we assume they will be able to reduce by 70% the chance of an accident, okay? We have invented a concept we call a safety coach. It's a combination of a few technologies, but you will see that there is a lot of intelligence in the product. I will, let's say, suggest you to look at let's say, the blade screen that goes from one pillar to the other, that it can be used with the camera outside to increase by 1/4, by 25% the visibility. Just an example, but you have cameras inside to look at the condition, the health condition of the driver. I mean, because we know that 90% of the accidents are actually originated by human error or not, let's say, normal, health condition. So it's an inclusive car. It's actually anticipating what the Scenic will be. Scenic was a legendary product of Renault. It was the first MPV for the mass market in Europe. And MPVs are, you know, the epitome of inclusive car. It's a family car. It's a car where you don't drive alone. It's not for one person. It's for everybody. I think it's a much more than a beautiful car. It's an objective, if you want. It's the future and the future of Renault production cars. So we wanted to use this, for us, unusual event to present something that is very, very important for the company. When you look at it, and Gilles, imagine that this will be the design, external design of the car that will come out maybe 2020, end of 23, 24. The interior will be maybe an interior of 2028, and the powertrain will be a 2030 powertrain. So I hope that you will enjoy it. I think it's an important step for us, but also for the whole industry. So I will hand over now to Gilles, who is cooking in the tent on the other one, for the presentation of the car, and I'll come back. Gilles.
Thank you, Luca. Good morning, everyone. I'm delighted to be here with you today to unveil the Renault Scenic Vision, a new concept car. And there's three levels of understanding of this object, actually. The exterior design is a teasing of a future production car, which we will launch in 2024. The interior is looking further into the future about how the cockpits could evolve according to the evolution of the experiences and what people will want to do on board. And the energy we use for this concept car is a mix of electric and hydrogen, hence exploring the possible energies for the future. As a company, we need to be ready and explore all possibles for personal cars as well. So about the exterior design of this car, again, it's a teasing of a production car, and what we want to do with the Renault design DNA, design language, is keep the historical values of the brand with very generous, soft, nice surfacing, together with more high-tech, technological, chiseled details, like the front lights, for instance, the grills, or some of the sharper lines on the car. About the interior, what's interesting beyond the architecture and the aesthetics of the interior is the approach we had on three topics: sustainable, safe, and inclusive mobility. So let's step into the car and discuss and detail all those notions. First, we were looking at recycled and recyclable materials. Of course, we push that as hard as we can, and there's 70% recycled materials in this concept car. Even 100 if I just look at what I can see from there. The seats, for example, what you want to do is push even one step further the recyclability of things. You want to anticipate that it's going to be easy to do. And the seat, for instance, the foam, the fabric, and even the stitching is made of the same material, polyester, so it's much easier to recycle than if it was different, various materials. The pigments we use on this car, actually it's a very black and white car, as you can see, and we use black pigment coming from the extraction of CO2 in the atmosphere. It creates a dark gray powder that we use for this. But other than this, there's no pigments whatsoever. Of course, we didn't want just a black and white car, so we created color in the screens, in the ambient lighting, and in those amazing pieces in the door panels and in the dashboard, which diffract light to create color. So you have those nice gradients of colors inside the car. But all this free of any pigment and all the chemicals that go with it. Now, if I step into the car, you'll see under me a floor made of recycled milk bottles and industrial piping. So we accepted that it would be black and white, and we created this really interesting graphical pattern because we wanted small bits to handle in terms of logistics and not one big single floor. So that's about sustainability. There's many other examples, but let's stick to this. And about safety now. Of course, there's passive and active safety in cars, but we pushed one step further there as well with this screen that's going from left to right, right at the bottom of the windscreen. And there's a camera in front of the car that can display what's right in front at the foot of the car, right in front of me. So it opens my vision angle. So when I drive slowly in the city, when I want to park my car, it's like I have a transparent hood on the car. I can see right in front of my car. So it's about safety. The other thing is the health monitoring. So there are cameras here and sensors in the steering wheel, and they know about my physical state. They know if I'm tired, if I'm drowsy, if I consume substances, let's hope not, if I'm able to drive or not. And the car will warn me. It will anticipate even possible problems. It will anticipate many things for me and will reduce an extra 30% accidents through this. The third, after sustainability and safety, is inclusion. The most important because it's about people, it's about human beings. And there's a face recognition system. When I approach this car, it will recognize me, it will unlock, open, everything will set itself nicely to my physiology. And even the screens, what's in the screens will readjust itself depending on my preferences, my habits. The car will know about my habits. So that's a very interesting thing to adapt to each person using the car. Another thing about inclusivity is the sound bubbles we have on each spot, on each seat of the car. The sound bubble principle is that this person might want to listen to the news, the next person classical music, and maybe TV series in the back. And everyone will listen to exactly what they want without interference. That's one way to use it. The other is about communication inside the car. If I'm sitting in front and I want to talk to my kids in the back, it's hard to listen, it's hard to hear. I will turn around and I will put myself in danger already. So capturing the voice here and transmitting it into the back very quietly, very nicely, as if we were speaking naturally, is very nice for a cockpit, but it's also about safety. So that's about safety, inclusivity, and sustainability. What's really interesting about this concept car beyond all this is how much this thinking, those concepts, those innovations actually influenced the design or the aesthetics of the car. And that's a strong sign of our times. Creativity is not just intuitive, it's not just a thing that designers do on the table. It's about the thinking influencing the very aesthetics of things. And that's what makes this concept car very powerful.
Thank you, Gilles. Thank you, Gilles, for this deep dive into the scenic vision. Back on the main stage, I'd like to invite Luca to join me on stage again.
Very hot, huh?
Yeah, it's super hot. So Luca, with this new car, you're not just writing a new chapter for Renault, you're starting a whole new book. You must be really proud? Really happy?
I'm happy that, that the initial idea of translating a few concepts in reality is actually working and it's actually relevant and technically useful for our customer. That's what we do. That's how we earn our life, right? So I think it's a beautiful car. So and it's very close, especially on the exterior design, to the product that will come in the market, which is for us an important product. So very happy that we could make it, and we will continue. But it shows also a change of philosophy in the design of Renaults, in the way we apply technology, we make choices. So we try to be progressive. I think it's what I want to see from the team. Yeah.
Yes, yes, and I understand now why we finally agreed to have a car do a launch like this. So
yeah, I think it stands let's say the expectation of such an event. I mean, it fits perfectly. I think the spirit of the whole change now, and yeah. I think we are legitimate. I mean, we are legitimate to be here, kind of.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and I'm so honored to be here with you, sharing this moment.
Yeah.
You know, Renault is a very special brand for me too. And I think now we have a special guest. We have a surprise for you
guest.
all. I believe an artist.
Yeah.
Maybe you can tell us and invite him on stage.
Jean-Michel.
Please join us.
Jean-Michel Jarre, ladies and gentlemen. We don't have to present him, I think.
No, we don't. We don't. Although, if we did, we would have a long time to do that. So tell me, Luca, Jean-Michel Jarre, Renault, I presume that this collaboration was born out of a love for innovation, but also many, many more things. Can you tell us more about it?
But look, I think Jean-Michel is an icon, I would say. Is a bit of a, especially for electronic music fans like me, it's a kind of a legend, a brand, a big French brand. And you know, he's one of this rare person that has been able throughout his life and career to combine technology with creativity. Because in fact, if you look at his history, you know, at the time when Jean-Michel started in electronic music, these guys, they had to build the instruments. They had to build it physically, no, Jean-Michel? So I think Jean-Michel is an engineer, and he's a creative person. Normally you find creative people and you have engineer on the other side. You combine both things, and you find this kind of very few rare people that are able to do that, and they change the world. And I believe symbolically, because you know, we are trying somehow to change it, to reinvent Renault, that exactly the combination of creativity typical of Renault and the technology we need to put back into the equation. And I think he's kind of an embodiment of that idea. And finally, I have to say, we kind of bumped on each other in an office by accident at Renault, and I think we simply kind of sympathized. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, and then this collaboration started. That will not be only limited to this event, but Jean-Michel is going to be an ambassador of the brand. He's going to help us in making better products. We're going to help him he has been a United Nations ambassador since, I think, 1993 or something like this. So we're going to help him also in his project. So it's a kind of collaboration built on complicity, on sympathy, and on admiration, at least from our side.
As I like to say, you're walking the talk. You're not just talking, you're doing it all the way. You're coming to change now. You're creating this beautiful, incredible car, changing, you know, opening a new era for the automotive industry, and you're doing it with an artist. And tell me, Jean-Michel, your perspective, how did you feel about this collaboration, and how did it come about for you to create all that you created around this car?
I must say, as a preamble, that the first time I meet this guy, he told me, between you and me, the most important thing in a car is the sound. So I had to agree, you know. But of course, beyond...
Including the klaxon, for
instance. The klaxon, the radio, the whole thing, the whole package. And of course, the sound and much beyond is part of my life. And we've been instantly on the same wavelength, on the idea that actually the culture and tech are absolutely linked. And in these moments of disruptions, we need actually to join forces. And I'm really happy to be a kind of ambassador also to convey this kind of very strange mixture between technology, environment or sustainability, and also edutainment. and this is one of the reasons where we are instantly in the same wavelength.
Excellent. So left brain, right brain, creation. We're entering the era of creativity.
That's right.
So everything that we're going to have to do is going to
Yes.
have to have a touch of creativity. So, Jean-Michel, you share with Luca the idea that ecology and innovation are intertwined, not contradictory. Could you elaborate on that?
Yes, absolutely. I'm absolutely convinced that we can only survive on the 21st century if we can live in good faith and harmony with technology and ecology. And actually, these two factors are, of course, in the automotive world, absolutely interlinked. As for artists, it's exactly the same. And I think that, you know, in days where innovation is part of the game, considering the environmental and sustainability and the environmental issue, I think that the idea of less is more could be the motto of future generations, and it certainly is in the mind of this guy, but even far beyond, the motto for Renault in the next few years, and I'm really proud and honored to be part of this plan.
But to turn the idea upside down, less is more. But Luca, doesn't less is more stand somewhat in contradiction to what the car industry usually is associated with?
Yeah, I think it might be in contradiction. And of course, you know, the automotive industry is a very capital-intensive industry. So every time you do a model, it's $1 billion. Every time you put a, you create a plant, is more than $1 billion. Every time you develop a new engine, maybe it's a $2 billion or one. So we need the size to actually sustain the thing. This is a fact, okay? But it's a gradient. It depends on how much you put growth and size as a priority. I think there is a kind of an intermediate way where you can somehow sustain a certain size, but work a lot on the quality of the business model, and going, you know, trying to push also and to transform the value chain to find, you know, business and profitability not necessarily only driven by the size. I mean, if you think, I don't know, I'm sure you're not too much into the automotive industry situation, etc. But we have spent we had the last couple of years, because of the COVID, because of the crisis on the logistic and supply chain thing, you know, the market's down, okay? But for many manufacturers, they had never made so much money. And it shows exactly probably the model was too much push in this direction, almost broken. So there is another way. And so that means that's the place where you can find somehow a connection and an alignment between people that are, you know, consider the automotive industry, you know, an industry that is really doing bad for the environment, versus us trying to kind of getting into a new, more virtuous model, okay, really business model. So, I mean, it could take like 2 hours of discussion, but I think we interpret somehow a new way of approaching the thing. Mm-hmm. Of course, as a business people, we want to do money, we want to increase profitability, et cetera, because it's good to invest in technology, to pay our people, to train our people, et cetera, et cetera. So no company, no matter the sector, can survive without, you know, generating profit. This is a kind of no discussion, but there is a way of doing it, right? There is a different way of doing it, and we want Renault in the automotive sector to be one of the companies that interprets this kind of new way. Does it make sense, what I...
It's beautiful, music to my ears. Before I wrap up, I would like to invite Gilles Vidal to join me on stage. Welcome, Gilles. We hope to see you all at VivaTech to find out more about this unique collaboration, because this reveal is going to happen in many stages. I feel like you're going to we talked about writing a new book. You're going to keep reading and discovering so much about this car, and so much about what the automotive industry is and the new path that it is taking. So maybe one last word for us?
Well, as you have seen, Scenic Vision is much more than a concept car. It's a bit of a manifesto showing the direction where Renault wants to push the whole Renault group, the whole group. So you will have many more occasions to hear about our ambition. I would like to thank you to stand the heat and to be present so in such a big number. Today was an important event for us, so good luck to everybody. Enjoy the show, and watch out for Renault from time to time, because we're gonna, bring you interesting solution in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Luca. Thank you, Jean-Michel. Thank you, Gilles. We're not done yet. To conclude, I would like us to watch together a short film presenting the new vehicle revealed today, the Renault Scenic Vision.
Thank you.
We're supposed to stay here. Yeah, can go there. I'm going to have to ask you to come back on stage. I know it's super hot, but we have a photo call for you. Everybody's going to lose at least 1 pound after this conference. Yeah. You should go on it.
There's dancing behind movie scenes, behind the movie scene. Sabirani, she's the one that keeps the dream alive. From the morning past the evening to the end of the light. Brim full of Asher on the 45. Well, it's a brim full of Asher on the 45. Brim full of Asher on the 45. Well, it's a brim full of Asher on the 45. And dancing behind movie scenes, behind those movie screens. Asher Bosley, she's the one that keeps the dream alive. From the morning past the evening to the end of the light. Brim full of Asher on the 45. Well, it's a brim full of Asher on the 45. Brim full of Asher on the 45. Well, it's a brim full of Asher on the 45. Everybody needs a bosom for a pillow. Everybody needs a bosom. Everybody needs a bosom for a pillow. Everybody needs a bosom. Mine's on the 45. And singing, illuminate the main streets and the cinema aisles. We don't care about no government warning about that promotion of the civil life of the dams they're building. Brim full of Asher on the 45. Well, it's a brim full of Asher on the 45. Brim full of Asher on the 45. Well, it's a brim full of Asher on the 45. Everybody needs a bosom for a pillow. Everybody needs a bosom. Everybody needs a bosom for a pillow. Everybody needs a bosom. Everybody needs a bosom for a pillow. Everybody needs a bosom. Everybody needs a bosom for a pillow. Everybody needs a bosom. Everybody needs a bosom for a pillow. Everybody needs